Get it. Okay, I'd like to call the Village of East Dundee Monday, March 16th board to order. Let's do roll call.
Trustee Saviano.
Here.
Trustee Kunze is absent. Trustee Mahoney.
Here.
Trustee Oakland.
Here.
And Trustee Guma is absent.
He just texted me, he said he's 30 seconds out.
All right. Markham is absent, and I'll mark him when he's in. Trustee Sauter.
Here.
And President Pearson.
Here. All right, let's do the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, do we have anybody for public comment?
There is.
We don't have anyone registered.
Does anybody have anything to say, public comment? Hello.
I'll note that Trustee Guma is seated at 6 p.m.
Okay, then I'll entertain a motion to accept the consent agenda.
I'll make the motion to accept the consent agenda items A through S as written on our bulletin.
And I'll move to pull out G, H, and I for discussion before that motion. So if we could amend to,
Can I make an amendment?
Yes.
So, and I will move to amend my original motion to remove G, H, and I, correct?
yes.
Okay.
And I'll second.
Okay. Trustee Saviano.
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney.
Yes.
Trustee Oakland.
Yes.
Trustee Guma.
Yes.
And Trustee Sauter.
Yes.
Okay, well, that takes us to G.
Yeah, so G, just because it's a lot of new rules for short-term rentals, just wanted to, talk through and make sure that everything sounded good. There was one,
Can you make a motion, please?
oh yeah,
Just
Thank you.
I'll make a motion, let me go back to this page.
to approve G.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve ordinance amending sections 15703, 157.030, and 157.050 of the zoning ordinance defining short-term rentals and creating a short-term rentals in the R1, R2, R3E, B1, B2, and B3 zoning districts.
Second.
Second by trustee Mahoney. Discussion?
Yeah, and then discussion. I do like that we have, that we don't have a special use anymore. I thought it'd be helpful just to give an overview for anyone in the public who's listening or trying to figure out what the new rules are to have them in one spot. So, but before that, there was one question, like there was one item, number 2, that was kind of cut off, that I emailed about. Was there anything missing in that should be discussed?
Yeah. Well, see if I can read it out loud.
It was on page 49.
Yeah, there was an email sent out today about that.
Yeah, I didn't see if we got,
She responded.
oh, I didn't see the email back, sorry. Oh yeah, and so I'll just read into it, the thing that was cut off was item number 2 of short-term rentals cannot provide food or drinks to any guests except for prepackaged food and drink items. So I'll just read that into it, but yeah, thank you. But yeah, as an overview, I do like that it's not a special use, so it's a little bit less work, but that it is limited to primary residences and secondary residences or people living within 30 miles who've bought and had the home over a year. Do they have to have lived in the home for a year, or they just have to have closed on it and wait a year?
Just have to own it for a year.
Okay. And then the other question I had was, we talked about the inspections will be needed. Is that a yearly inspection, and is that defined yet on what the inspection requirements are, or is that something that's TBD?
So the inspections will fall in the same triennial schedule as our long-term rental inspections, so once every 3 years. and it's the same inspection as if you were renting to somebody who was renting for longer than a short-term rental, which is just, you know, proper egress, proper bedrooms, bathrooms, et cetera.
Okay. And then I didn't have any other concerns, but if anybody else has any, now's the time.
So this applies to, we do have some existing short-term rental properties in the village already. Those rental properties are subject to the whole license and all of these rules going forward. They're not necessarily grandfathered in.
Well, they are grandfathered into most of the requirements, such as the ownership piece of like owning it for longer than a year.
Sure.
But they will have to be inspected.
Yes, okay. And have a license. Yes. Okay, thank you.
Anyone else?
Oh, and just because we're reading in the overview, I found my list. So if anyone's interested, listening to this later, you are required to notify your neighbors within 100 feet of your property, just so they're aware of people coming and going, that it is a rental. But you don't have to have all of your neighbors get letters to show up at a hearing anymore. That part has been removed.
This is for Airbnbs and VRBOs, that type of stuff.
And that's only in residential districts. So if you're in a business district, you don't have to do the 100.
Right. Thank you.
Okay.
And there's a couple others. Annual license. So will they need to renew and purchase the license every year? Is that correct? And then you can't have two groups in the same property at the same time, or big parties or weddings. And like you mentioned, we're grandfathering in current Airbnbs, so they don't have to follow all of these rules, but they will need to be inspected and pay the permit fee and pay taxes on it.
Well, that's not exactly true. They'll have to get licensed and comply with the requirements, but they don't have to wait the 12 months, essentially.
Right.
Right.
And I think that's a good overview that captures it. So nothing else for me. And then really that kind of encapsulates the next two as well. So I could make motions on those two at once after this one.
Go ahead and do the roll call.
Trustee Saviano?
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Oakland?
Yes.
Trustee Guma?
Yes.
And Trustee Sauter?
Only G.
Yes.
Only G.
Only G was moved, so if we can move
Yes.
H, you can move H and I together if you want.
Perfect.
Yes. So I'll make a motion to approve an ordinance amending section 11903 titled Rental License Required of Chapter 119, titled Rental License of Title 11, titled Business Regulations, and adding Chapter 124 titled Short-Term Rental License. And I'll also make a motion, can I do two at once? To approve an ordinance amending section 3701 of the code regarding fees related to short-term rental licenses.
I'll second.
Okay. Trustee Saviano?
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Oakland?
Yes.
Trustee Guma?
Yes.
And Trustee Sauter?
Yes.
All right, that moves us to other agenda items. A, discussion and direction regarding the White and Company's revised conceptual designs for a soundstage at 120 Railroad Street. We have a presentation.
Good evening. How are you today? I'm Patty King with White and Company. It's good to
Hello.
be back. So we're here to give you an update on Phase A. And there's a couple of things that we'd like some input from you guys on this evening. We do have a more detailed band shell or structure design, so we'd like your comments and hopefully approval on that. We will provide you some information about the projector screen. So we're finding a couple of different options for you to consider, so we'd like some input on that as well. And then we have been talking with the Rouse Center, and just want to understand the stage lighting scope of work that you'd like to include in the structure itself. All right. Yeah. Make it litter. Where's that? Thanks. The best. Ta-da. Okay, here we go. Okay, so this is our master plan. Nothing has changed so far, so we're still moving ahead as we had originally talked about. So our Phase A improvements includes the band shell, the ability to get in and around the band shell and access that, and a little bit of paving out front. So this is a really awesome technical drawing, which I know you guys are super excited about, but we are very excited actually. So this is the south end. So here's Minor Street here and Hill at the south end, so you can kind of see where we're at. We do have, this is our new curb line, so we are going to replace some of the curb here. The angled parking will be restriped. This zone again is the loading zone as well, so during events that will be coned off so that your stage acts can utilize that. Our structure itself is this large rectangle here. We have a set of stairs that will come down off the front of the stage itself, and then we just have a simple sidewalk connection to the existing walk. As we come around to the back, we do have a set of stairs here for ease of access to the back of the stage, and we also have a ramp that will allow events and that to just roll up equipment on to the backside of the stage.
Would that make it ADA compliant too?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Just one minor point, what you stated is an existing sidewalk, there isn't a sidewalk there at this
That is
present
correct.
time.
So we're adding some sidewalk,
Yes.
which is part of the reason also why we've redone the curb here as
Mhm.
well.
Okay.
Thank you. So the new sidewalk that we have will in fact stop at this location.
Mhm.
But at least it's a complete system, so what we have when we're done with Phase A will look complete and finished. But we know there's more. Any more questions on this plan? Okay, so here are some drawings of the stage, technical drawings. So it we'll have an angle, a slope to the roof. This is the front side, this is the back side. It is about 50 feet long, the roof structure. At the lowest point, the eave will be 10 feet from the ground plane. And then at the front, we are just over 30 feet 6 inches to the very top of the roof structure itself. So you will be able to see the structure underneath as you're looking at the stage itself. We do have Depot Park across the top, and that does match your new signage standards, so it will look consistent with what we have in place already around town. We have prettier pictures to look at, so I'm moving on. So here is an illustration of the actual materials. You can start to see some of the screen walls that we have in the back. We do have another exhibit just so you can see exactly where those are. So this would be sitting in the lawn area. And then this is the sidewalk at Railroad Street, correct? Thank you. And so here is what the stage structure will actually look like in its new home. So we're pretty excited about that. Any questions there?
Not yet.
All right. Okay, so here is an enlargement of the stage itself. So we will have some side screens along these two edges just to help block some of that area off.
How, are those removable then, and how are they mounted?
They can be, but they're surface mounted, so we'll actually bolt them down to the concrete slab You could pull them off if you wanted, but they are intended to be permanent.
Okay.
But, you know, if you wanted to change the screen or do something different, you could pull them off if desired. So in the back side, there will be two 12-foot sections that'll be just immediately adjacent to the post, and there'll be an 8-foot section that'll be clear on the inside. Then we'll have a 5-foot, essentially walkway in between, and a 20-foot wide section. So performers can come in and then out and around, and you know, we're not going to distract from what's going on up here as folks are coming in and out.
So your distance from the back two screens to the edge,
Here,
yeah, there is what, 3 feet, 4 feet?
3
Looks like?
feet.
5 feet? Okay.
But
And
it
then there would
is,
have to be a railing.
but it is flush, like this concrete area here is at the same
Oh, that's
elevation.
right. Okay, so it's
So the
continuous.
ramp portion
Okay.
stops right here, so this all the way actually up to the
Got it.
top tread of the stairs, so it's not quite as skinny as it seems.
Okay.
So all of this is at the same elevation. Other questions?
For those sidewalls that you have, the back wall and the sidewalls, do those also act, or could they act as rain shelter for all the equipment? Say it starts storming and raining at an angle.
They will offer some protection, but let me move to the next image. So
But
you
not
can
really.
see, they are gonna be about 8 feet tall, thank you. It's been a busy week already, it's only
Yeah.
Monday. So they will be 8 feet tall, so yes, they will offer some protection, but it's, you know, it's not a room.
Yeah.
So it isn't weatherproof,
Okay.
okay?
But yeah, there could be eventually something added above that kind of rolls down of if we wanted to have a plan for rain in the future. I don't know if that's something that you're aware of, different kinds of options that we could choose from, but it does seem like we should have some way of protecting like the sound equipment if a storm starts up.
We will look into that for you.
Sure.
So as we talk about like the rain shelter part of it, we brought it up before in our discussion is the overhangs.
Yes.
So which would be increasing the amount of coverage on the stage. It doesn't appear that they're much more extended, were they, or? All right, is there a way to possibly go more? I just still
Is there a
feel,
reason they don't go to the concrete? I just am curious.
No, and honestly, we put the edge of the concrete out so that there's a little bit of room to walk around. So what we did do is we extended the roof over the front end of the stage is where most of the extension came with that. Now we could move these walls in a little bit. That would be another option to get them a little farther underneath the existing roof structure itself.
Yeah, if there's a way to look at like extending it, maybe not all the way to the ground or maybe
Right.
halfway, but we're not sure, like, are acoustics affected? I'm sure in some degree because it's kind of projecting sound outward, so we don't want to mess up the acoustics, but wanted to maximize any kind of rain coverage we could
Okay.
while
Yeah,
still having the acoustics work.
I wouldn't say to move the legs in though, because all you're gonna do is make it a smaller stage,
Correct.
you know? And for the few times we may have rain during an event, I don't know that it's, I agree with Andy or Trustee Sauter, we should probably have some sort of curtains that'll fall down or something that we can, if we have to take a 20-minute break, because let the storm pass, it'd be nice to have something to roll down to at least cover the sides so the equipment doesn't get ruined.
Okay.
Is that something we can have village staff look into instead of?
We could, yeah.
So one of the things I've done before on this is I've added eye bolts to the top of the bottom of the beam underneath, and they're I believe they're 12 inches apart, which then match like vinyl sides
Okay.
of rental tents. I've also seen the Village of Bolingbrook also did this on theirs, and they got custom side panels that are fabric, made out of some umbrella fabric, that they can put up and take down as needed. So that might be a simple solution to that problem.
I visually too, I
Mhm.
just feel like the overhangs would add a little bit more to it too also, not only for the weather
Yeah.
protection, but for some reason I feel like it feels tall in the picture. So, and I don't mean like massive tall, like just kind of proportionally tall. So,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah, and then on that note of I like the idea of having things built in that we could then bolt on and attach things to.
Yep.
The question in here about, do we want to do video and audio and speaker connections, light connections, video projectors? I think we at least want to have the plan of how they would all bolt on and make sure they're compatible with systems, and have an acoustics expert tell us like, yes, these are the standard ways you could tie in later, even if it's not in the budget today, so that, you know, if it is years later, that we're not like, oh, none of this is compatible with any of the sound equipment that's available. So that's maybe today where I would be at as far as the concern of making sure it's compatible at least,
Okay,
with a plan to expand into.
sure.
And then for, like, I'm gonna use the term rigging, you know, for
Yes.
like lighting and stuff like that.
Mhm.
I don't do stage work. I think the RAW's gonna be using it. I would like to kind of see someone from that team kind of point exactly what they want if they're not all doing it already. So,
So Richard did attend tonight from the Rouse Center.
perfect.
There you are.
So he's hiding in the
Hi.
back row.
Awesome.
So he's been giving us some really good feedback about how they plan to use the amenity and what types of sort of flexible rigging, that's the term they use too, that they want to use, because there's going to be different requirements for like orchestra versus theater production, etc. So I think there's been good direction in that perspective. But as long as you're here, is there a reason we need to have the walk around on the sides? Because the question of, like, can we make the overhang longer? I was also thinking, can we make the concrete narrower?
Yeah, you could. I mean, we're still in the early stages,
Yep.
so when we reviewed initially, we were, from our perspective, for artistry and different genres, we were looking at what would be the most flexible. And majority of the technology would all be higher end digital or LED, so we're not so much worried about rain, because Sunbrella, they have the rollers that can come down and can sell sponsorships and things like that and have rain. But we're more concerned with weight bearing and ease of use, so
Right.
that a lot of the wiring can be concealed, or that the rigging is taken into consideration as the hardscape's being built. So I think we'll get there, and you could play around with the extension off the back. I think that's always great for water. But then we talked a little bit about drainage concerns as well, because you want to make sure that all the pulling water that comes off that square footage
Yeah.
has the appropriate drainage and doesn't
Right.
problem and things like that. So I think so far it looks great. Actually, we're pretty excited about it.
Richard, I haven't, I'm looking to your expertise.
Sure.
The stages that I have been at, and I've only been, you know, as somebody that's come along for somebody who's actually working, technical directing and that kind of thing. The stage itself seems really deep. Is it oversized for what our needs are?
I don't think so. Initially, the stage was designed to be deep so that we could provide for larger format groups from symphonies or
Okay.
things like that, and including dance companies as well. So,
Right.
a lot of it is going to come down to the height of the aperture at the beginning. The lid, how high it is. So as it relates to sound and sending the sound out, I agree with the gentleman that we do need to look at the acoustics of it. And we've flagged everything from light intrusion from the road to sound
Okay.
to wind, everything. So so far it's shaping up.
And then based on your experience as well, like with a rigging and a lighting grid that would need to be installed
Mhm.
eventually, that would be contracted to a separate entity, not necessarily to White? Is that what usually happens, or?
In theory, yes, we would hope that White would take into consideration the weight bearing and
Mhm.
the attachments. So when she was mentioning the I-beams and, you know, the points of contact, that's the most impressive point that we push right now, is that we want to be able to, I think it came down to 2,000 pounds or something like that, 4,000 pounds per point for a grid. We really, because of the nature of the band shell, we're only really looking at maybe 2 20-foot extensions underneath the actual roof that would be attached for lighting and sound. It really comes down to the size of the audience. We were planning on roughly a 500 to 700 person audience, and for the school footage, so I think that should suffice.
And I also wanted to mention, because I heard you talking about it, if the roof pan, or if the side and rear panels are 8 feet tall, I think that this perspective just gives like a sort of wrong impression, because if the rear roof is only 10 feet and the panels are 8 feet, you're only talking about 2 feet in between the top of the panel and the bottom of the roof. But here it looks like it's a lot larger than that.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah,
The
this picture
proportions.
doesn't look really proportionate.
Right.
If those are 8 feet, there should only be 2 feet.
Is it,
Yeah,
is it
good
10
point.
feet to where the arch joins at the outside post, or is it 10 feet
No,
at the
it's,
center
it's 10 feet to the corner,
to the corner, so to the outside posts?
right,
Okay.
so it would be,
So then you're looking at
Here.
probably another, but even
you're
the
right.
Right.
proportion looks
Should be
weird too.
higher.
we
Doesn't
will,
look
we will verify the height
Okay.
of the screens. They actually appear to be, I'm sorry, going the wrong way. They actually appear to be closer to
Unless it's
6
level
feet
the whole way,
as
unless-
opposed to
I mean, sliding.
10 or 8.
Right.
We'll
So-
we'll
so-
double check. Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
apologies for that.
Yeah, because right now, if you look at the height of the screen to the edge where the arch joins the pole,
Right,
that looks more like 6, or, 6 feet
yeah.
or so, not 8
So
feet.
if this is 10 feet here, I would agree. I think they're being
Okay.
shown as 6 feet.
But I think we'd like them to be at least 8 feet.
Okay, we can adjust that.
Now, for like when the shows are going, I have kids that are in plays and in concerts and stuff. There's always like kind of a changing area. Would that be provided by whoever's using it? Would set up like if it was needed, depending on what the show is. Like we don't need that as our base band shell. Is that a correct
that's-
assumption?
If I might interject, that's a great question. It came up in our preliminary discussions. Ideally, we'd like to have a standalone building with running water and a green room and maybe facilities. But because of the budget constraints, we're thinking that's phase 2 in the interim. We'll probably use across the street and then just host at 10 minutes or 15 minutes to curtain people behind the screens or down below the temporary wall.
Right.
Yeah, there is a space in the rear of the, right there.
Yeah.
You can see,
So
like
this
there where we
space
envision
here.
sort of,
Something.
and maybe
like that.
maybe for the first phase, but some sort of shed, temporary setup
Temporary tent,
for
sure.
the season that people could use for a changing area or like get refreshments, whatever. But long term, there is a desire to have a more permanent structure, like Richard said, with running water and stuff. So yeah, looking for donors.
Found any yet?
Well, we've got some for Richard's Performing Arts Center.
It-
But once we get that covered, maybe
In,
we'll get to
in,
that next.
in
In
the,
due time.
sorry, in the
Got
concrete,
prospects.
the concrete kind of apron photo, it looks, I don't know if we can go back to it where it shows like the actual stage surface itself, kind of like that. For some reason, the concrete, like I feel like the stage itself's got like a really cool feel to it, but the concrete almost doesn't have like an East Dundee feel, if that makes sense. Is there a way to like incorporate like a brick apron around there that matches kind of like the yellowish cream colored brick that's of the area that all of our buildings are, you know, to kind of tie it into who we are. And I don't know how architecturally people feel about that, but a way to kind of wrap it into our downtown.
I think that's a great idea.
Happy to add that. It will increase the cost a little bit, so.
You're running that on the wall, not column wraps like we showed previously,
Mhm.
correct?
Sorry?
Yeah.
How
Yeah,
tall
just a
is the
basic-
stage? How tall is it from the ground?
2 feet.
2 feet.
So that way, if we go any higher than 2 feet, we have to have a railing around the sides of
Okay.
it, not as distract from it.
And you might have other options too, like anything else. I would be okay with too. So
Okay.
2 feet, those probably not as intrusive as I think, and we probably could do landscaping plants too, and probably could take our eyes right off of it.
Right.
So,
What about a brick face around
Yeah,
the
that's-
stage?
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh, sorry.
Like brick facing around the.
Yeah, that's what I was
stage,
really thinking. Yeah.
concrete?
But that could be down the road too, we can always add that later too.
So one of the goals for tonight is that we would like to get a pretty close to done design so that we can put it out to bid if we wanna still stay on track to construct this year. So we could do the brick face as sort of an option when we
Okay.
put it out to bid, and we can see how much it costs and then add it on or not add it on when we go to.
Great idea.
Would it be
And that-
important to look at concrete stamping for the edge too, maybe if that's another affordable option
Yeah.
to put up there?
Okay.
So did we get an answer on the raised area outside of the poles, on if that's all needed or not? Because I just see people sitting
So
on.
part of that is the footings are 7.5 feet wide
Uh-huh.
from the drop, here's the unfortunate guy.
Sorry.
So
Yeah.
those circles
wow.
there are 7.5 foot wide circles, so they
It's
go
huge.
right to the edge of
Yeah.
that. It's just the wall that we have to put in.
I
So
see.
To not have that, those would jut out beyond the wall,
Right,
which
right,
would
right.
make it look a little wonky.
Right, right. So the rendering isn't exactly accurate to this engineer
Everything's the
drawing.
same size, yeah. Everything's the same size there.
Okay, so the footings are flush with the floor.
Correct.
The 7-foot footings are flush with the floor,
Yeah.
Correct.
which is what's driving that
The
outside
overall
space.
width,
Yeah.
yes. This width from, here to here.
Yeah.
Right.
And then it takes.
Because if not,
pretty
it'll
massive.
look like we didn't do our job very well.
Yeah, it'd be like
So,
big
yeah,
circles.
Right.
I wonder if we did do the extension of the overhangs, if it would kind of distract from that outside edge. You know what I mean?
Possibly,
Like,
yeah,
to
it
make
just feels
look
weird
A
that-
little more, like, it's all part of it, so.
I also kind of just thought about draining. If we extend it to the edge of the concrete, it's draining onto the grass
Which is
instead of
good.
on the
Right.
concrete.
Yeah.
So,
Because right now,
Could get
it's,
muddy.
any runoff is gonna go right onto the concrete.
walkway.
yeah.
And you
Instead
did
of
extend
onto
it
the-
slightly, right?
We did, and the extension was towards the front, so before the end, stop here, but we did, do you know, Daniel, do you know how far we extended the front?
It's 10 to 12 feet
Feet.
beyond
Beyond.
the post there.
I guess, I'm talking about the eaves,
Yeah, that was.
On the
Yeah.
side.
yeah.
On the sides, we did a foot beyond on the lower ones, and the upper ones was 1.5 feet on each side. If we wanted to extend those further, it's just gonna also increase the cost on that.
I think we're gonna do this once though, right? So we should
Correct.
do it right.
Yeah, I think it should not drain onto the concrete, it should drain into the grass,
Okay.
right?
And you could even do like
If it
a
does, then you're
wrap,
gonna have to deal
gravel.
with
Mud.
mud and, if digging holes.
unless they did like a gravel or something around it,
Right.
you know, to catch
So
it.
the concrete underneath the stage will have a slight pitch to it, so we will get, if there, at some point it will rain and water will get into that space. We need to pitch that, so we'll pick it up a little bit. It won't be really noticeable to the naked eye, but that will allow the pavement underneath to drain.
Yeah.
That's fine.
So,
I think the less water on there, the better though, because we got freeze thaw cycles, we got all kinds of stuff, and we want this thing to be here past me, so.
Me too.
Absolutely, so.
all right, we will look at extending the overhangs to at least the edge of the concrete, if not a little beyond.
And
And then you've got the projectors at the bottom?
Yeah.
Will there be electrical tied into this then? Like
Yes.
different points to, and then
Yes.
any storage within? Like, I don't know if that makes any sense to bury storage within the concrete, but
It's only 2 feet tall, so it's like
Yeah.
underneath storage. So if we did do that small building behind during phase 2, that would be a really good spot for some storage.
gotcha.
All right, so there's a couple different types of screens we can use. So for our outdoor movies with 500 person capacity, we need a screen that's about 300 inches in width. Our standard width for our retractable rear projection system, which would be a screen that would, roll up and be up in the eaves, it would come down, is only 150 inches. So it's really not big enough if you were, going to do movies in the park, things like that, for the entire lawn seating area to be able to see it. You'd get about half of it. We can do custom sizes, but again, that's just a cost issue. So we can look into that, but we haven't yet because we wanted to get some information from you guys first. The other option we could do is an inflatable movie projector. They do have screen sizes standard from 240 to 480 inches. They can also be set up for rear projection as well. So that would be something that you could put on the stage and have the projector protected underneath the stage structure itself.
We have that screening, right, that we're gonna have on the backside of the stage.
Yes.
Is there any way that we could multi-purpose that so that it could be used for both? Does that make sense?
It's a little, it does, I understand what you're asking. That's a little far back. I think if you were gonna utilize the screen for movies in the park, things like that, you'd really want that screen to sit
That's your
up at the
point.
front of the stage.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's bands that like to put up screens and stuff like that too. And if you're talking 150 inches, 12 and a half feet should be fine, I would think, don't you?
I mean, we've never really done a movie in the park, so we don't know what kind of
Right.
audience that would attract. So I'm not sure that we need to go with the maximum size to start with. Maybe we start with the inflatable and
See where it goes.
see how it works. But I do also want to consider that there might be a dual purpose for it, like bands might want to use it to do their own sort of graphics. And so then, yes, smaller would be more ideal than something that large. So maybe we could look at having something that was dual purpose.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Behind the stage and at the front.
I guess somebody wants a comment.
Problem is we need to, if we were to do this one for movies, that'd be right in front, so if we
Right.
dropped it down, it would block the whole band. So I think the band would
Potentially,
need
yeah.
something separate in the rear of the stage and something for movies in the front of the stage.
And then you have the location of the projector itself, right, unless we're back shooting it?
Correct. So I would agree that you're really talking about two different uses. So
I like your idea, let's just hold off right
So
now.
I think the inflatable is the way to go to start.
Okay.
Yeah.
okay.
All right, so do you have everything you need?
Yeah, work too sometimes.
Yes. We have everything we need, Daniel?
I'm pretty sure I've got all this, yeah.
Okay.
And we can buy that ourselves.
Right.
Yes.
At a later date, right?
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Now, that brings us to B, discussion and direction regarding termination and release of driveway license agreement between the village and property owners of Roslyn Road.
All right, so this is, I think the residents are here tonight to hear this conversation. We've had some conversations with them, staff has, regarding their request. Originally, this was a private road. It doesn't meet standards, village standards for roadway width, so we've done some work with the village engineer to determine what kind of investment would be necessary to make it comply with our village standards. So the discussion tonight will be, what direction do we want to go here?
Do you know the history on if this was, it seemed like there was a past ordinance where it was voted to be private. Was it ever a public road, or it was just agreed upon to be a shared private driveway?
It's always been owned by the village as right away, but at some point in time, the residents and the village decided that the residents would maintain that roadway. I'm guessing because it was just so narrow and kind of a private, almost like a private drive.
So this came about, I was asked by a resident there if we can do plowing, snow plowing for them. And then that opened up this big project because the concern was having our trucks down there, is it big enough to turn around, that kind of stuff? Because it doesn't meet our ordinance.
If you see on page 2 of my memo, the little snapshot from the GIS maps from King County, the dashed line represents our village right-of-way. So, and then of course, the Summit Avenue, the solid lines essentially depict the existing single-lane road back to those 3 homes, 413, 415, and 417, and then where that line and the X is, that's essentially the road stops there. So there is substantial room within village right-of-way. We call it, the reference that as the Summit Avenue right-of-way, even though all 4 of those properties have Roslyn Road addresses. So that those dash lines represent our right-of-way limits. So there's ample room to widen the roadway within village right-of-way.
So what's the cost of widening it? Does the residents want us to do that? What's the residents want from us, besides just plowing? I see $140,000, right?
For
So-
all roadway and right-of-way improvements, to bring the road up to a village standard, roadway standard. That would also include a retaining wall because of the topography in front of 425. There'd be a retaining wall, some tree plantings, landscaping, a road shoulder.
And 425 doesn't need any access, correct? Their driveway access is actually on Roslyn?
Yeah, it's more, yes, it is off Roslyn, and it kind of heads to the southwest corner of their property there, where Roslyn and Summit intersect. But yes, they're essentially on the Roslyn side.
I did stop there today to take a look at it, because originally, when this little background discussion with staff, I was kind of receptive to the idea of us getting all of our roads where equipment can get in them, getting the fire engines, things of that nature. Today, I couldn't really understand how we would ever get it there. It's kind of a strange situation. I envisioned it differently, than when I got there. It almost seems like a shared driveway. So, I think for my standpoint, we have other roads too that have this similar problem. Like, I'm thinking of Hillside off of Elgin, has a multiple of houses, is extremely steep. They have paving different in front of every single home. Maybe we could look at it from a village-wide standpoint of coming up with a plan to incorporate all these roads and then budgeting them in and then seeing what it takes rather than kind of piecemealing this one at a time.
The difference with Hillside Lane is essentially entirely located on private property.
Mhm.
So there's no public right-of-way along Hillside.
Okay.
Whereas this roadway is on public right-of-way.
It's just strange to me. I get that's on public right away. It seems like it was the builder built it that way, for whatever reason, cut costs or whatever it was when he built it. So, like I said, I just kind of like to see a layout of all of these in the neighborhood. So, because $140,000 is real money. And I understand that it started from like a plowing standpoint. But I just want to be fair with the rest of the residents in our village to say like, hey, if we're going to do certain things, let's meet all the needs and then kind of put them in order of what's most important.
I mean, we could do an inventory and then bring that back and give you an idea of sort of the scope and scale
Yeah, what
of
it
how
would
many
take.
of these exist and you know, sort of like a rough budget of what that would take, and then we could see how many years it would take to sort of plug those in.
Kind of like a lead service line plan or
Right.
something like that. Yeah.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and if the main concern is the cost of plowing it, then it's almost like how many times would you have to plow it in order to make up the 140 grand? And it'd be cheaper for the village to pay to plow that than to redo the roads, but I don't know if there's other things that are critical besides the plowing, but that seems like not a very cost-effective
So
solution
is the
to
village
it.
plowing it at this point, or the
No.
residents hiring?
The residents
Residents
hired on there.
manage it.
Yeah.
Do we have a pickup truck with a plow?
We do.
So, Mark, how's the fire access on this road?
You got those in that out. You can't turn out there. So we have to snooze in. We have a construction fire, or we light it down the road. There's no way to get two vehicles out there.
And I think they take their garbage cans out to Roslyn. I'm pretty sure that's the case. I don't think the garbage truck backs up there. So
Do
there's,
they want us to do this, or do they want us to widen the road?
from what we,
Essentially, we're taking property away from them.
The meeting, it seemed like it was a little bit mixed.
Yeah.
I think, so if you look at this GIS map, which doesn't really give you the full view, it appears now several of those residents enjoy more green space because they're actually encroached into the right of way, but that's just the way that it's always been. So they're gonna lose aesthetically some of that green space if we widen the road. So I think there were concerns about how that would look if the village comes in and widen it. But originally, this started off as, hey, we just don't wanna maintain, we don't wanna snow plow, we don't
Right.
wanna,
We don't wanna pay for snow
Yeah.
plowing anymore.
but then Phil and Joe raised the issue that if we're looking at the road, maybe we should look at it as a whole and see what improvements.
Yeah, I definitely understand the primary driver to be that they would like to have snow plowing, which is, you know, a understandable concern. They also, if we go down this road, we would take on all maintenance. So
Mhm.
when the road needs to be resurfaced, potholes, whatnot, that currently is not a responsibility of the village. So I've had some conversations with some board members who expressed concerns about this, and, you know, it's a sort of a philosophical issue and like a what's the right thing to do issue. So there's no real good answer here, because the fact is the road was constructed the way that it was constructed well before any of us were here. But now we find ourselves in the position of, well, if we are gonna take it on, do we take it on as what we would consider substandard road? You know, it's kind of like, do you wanna have it both ways, or do you wanna have it halfway? Like, from a staff perspective, like, we would say, absolutely not, please don't proceed if you're not gonna invest in making it adhere to the rest of the village streets in a way that makes it, you know, safer and easier for our staff to plow it, and then, you know, if we're gonna take it on, let's not do it sort of halfway. But I understand that's compelling because it's cheaper, but as your staff, we have to tell you what we would recommend, and then you get the difficult decision of trying to decide what's direction we're gonna go here.
It is a really cool kind of road. Like I said, I drove down it today, and the trees are beautiful and massive, and that was part of it too. I'm like, wow, like we'd be taking out some cool trees. It's not really a pass-through. I consider it a joint driveway. So like, if we wanted to help the community, or the people,
It was intended to go through, wasn't it, at one point?
it's pretty steep on the other side, I think.
the right of way,
The plan originally was for it to go all
the
the
right of way
way.
does go through, but when you get down to the very end,
It's almost like a-
Yeah, it's a dead end, but
where am I here?
it's very steep, I can tell you.
I don't know if you get out there.
Yeah,
If they
I can
grow
tell
up
you
to-
from just walking, it is, I think one of the houses, is it 415 or 417? None of the neighbors are here, none of the residents are here?
I don't believe so. You all from,
We live in Summit, I'd walk down there.
Oh,
Yeah, so
I don't believe
I
any
know,
affected
it's
homeowners.
either 417 or 415, like, it is like a 3-story house, and it's a walkout
On the
from the
back.
basement on the
Yep.
back, and you walk in the front, or in the front, you walk in on the first floor. So, or on the top floor, it would be, or maybe the middle floor, I'm not sure. But it is very steep, people are not gonna be driving down that.
No, this is the northern extent of Summit. The right-of-way does continue down to what would be Van Buren. And I believe the home directly to the north here is 5 something
There's a
Van
pond,
Buren.
there's a stream, there's a whole, like, McIntosh Creek runs through there, before you get to Van Buren, or is it Edwards?
Van Buren, it'd be Van Buren. So if this continues, Summit continues straight north, it would intersect with Van Buren. Now, the property to the north here, a portion of the right-of-way was vacated to the property owner, so we, village, no longer have a full right-of-way width north of this,
Mhm.
between here and Van Buren.
Yeah. So we have no access.
But if we
And-
wanted to improve safety, like fire access, we'd have to build like a big turnaround at the end that
Yeah, because
Otherwise,
they're
they're
still
just
gonna be
backing
backing out. In my 30 years of driving a fire engine, they're gonna nose in, but they're still gonna back out. Whether it's 22 feet or 12 feet, they're still gonna back out.
And that's pretty windy, so you'd be
Yeah,
really
there's no way they're
chopping
gonna be able to
locked
flip
out.
it around, which is fine. The
It's
guys
cool
are good,
looking
they'll do
road.
that, but again, these people, there's 4 of them that bought houses right there, and unless they're all 4 on board with us doing this kind of stuff, I think it's a null and void conversation at this
Yeah.
point. Because
They
you're
did.
not gonna go taking property away from somebody that bought a house just specifically for that. Because that's essentially what would happen.
It's not taking property away from anybody because it's already village-owned property, but they do enjoy the green space of the
Right.
property and the trees and whatnot.
They've improved it and they maintained it, and they've,
Yes. So, it's,
Yeah, and I would say if we did it, I'd want it to be improved safety, like the fire truck could turn around at the
like a
end, which would be
cul-de-sac.
a big impact at the end, that
That'd be huge.
unless they're all on board with making it improve safety,
It's got like a kind of an L thing at the end out of the one driveway.
yeah.
Like, that's kind of when I was in thought, I was like, let's get all of our roads safe, but then when I like went there, I'm like, oh my, this is just not what I, had in mind. So really got to take a walk down there and take a look at it, because it's hilly, it's windy,
yeah.
it's not like to compare it to hillside, it's not a street. Like, it just goes up and down.
So we're pretty much all on board that says, unless everybody wants to do it, to go to the 22 feet, we're not doing anything. Is that correct?
Well, I guess it's twofold, right? It's, the residents want the agreement, the license agreement terminated, because they don't want to maintain it. So does the village agree to that termination with no improvements, agree to the termination with improvements, or doesn't agree to the termination at all?
Say it, I guess at this point, we just don't agree to it and move it down.
Unless
to
all
the
4 of them
plan.
are on board.
Yeah.
They're supportive of the termination,
Yeah.
and they're supportive of these improvements. They did offer some suggestions on what they would like to see with the right-of-way improvements, and which have essentially been summarized, and costs have been estimated by Joe and his firm. So they are supportive of this approach. I can't imagine they're supportive of incurring any of the costs associated with this, but they are supportive of this.
Of the staff recommendation that's on paper, they're supportive of that we've been quoted for.
Yes.
And widening the road? They're supportive
Yes.
of that?
Yeah.
Did they put that in writing?
They did not. So we had a virtual meeting with Kelly and Joe and I, and we met with the 4 residents, all 4 properties that are affected by this. And they did indicate it, essentially at the end of the meeting, that they are supportive of terminating the agreement. And contributed some ideas, some requests associated with the right-of-way improvements.
What is the end date of the agreement?
Yep.
The existing
is.
agreement?
It goes on
Not sure
until
if
it's
they're
terminated.
Perpetual.
It's been in place since 1998.
Yeah.
Would we be okay assessing the whole village for all these and then coming up with a plan that's kind of uniform? And then looking at it from what's in our budget? Because like I said, this ain't the only neighborhood that has a similar situation, and I think it would only be fair if we look at them all, so.
Yeah,
Can we do that?
I can,
And snow's almost over for the year, we got some time.
I think, I can think of another one right on the other side of the hill in that neighborhood that has a
Don't say
shared
no.
drive. Hmm?
Don't say it out loud. They're gonna want it too then.
No, my point is that there are, especially in this less kind of or haphazardly or, you know, organically grown, shall we say, not haphazard, organically grown types of projects and development in this area, that there are other shared drives that would end up wanting to be rolled into this, and so it's a much bigger project than just this. If the village were to end up improving it, maintaining it, and doing it.
I think we could do an inventory within 3-ish months.
Yeah, we're still getting the
Perfect.
budget for it, so.
Yeah.
I can get behind that.
All right.
Yeah, but not terminating it until
Right.
after this,
Leave it,
this,
Yes,
Right.
leave it as is. Sit back.
yeah.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
Thank you.
Thanks, Phil.
Thank you.
All right, I'll
Thanks, Phil.
entertain a motion to, for C.
I'll make a motion to approve an ordinance amending and restarting ordinance
No,
number.
Wait.
You're on
No.
D.
See,
Oh, sorry about that. I'll make a motion to approve a resolution authorizing an agreement with Builders Asphalt LLC for water service and usage.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
Basically, all this is saying they get 2 meters, one used, where it doesn't have a septic to it, basically, like, and so they get a discounted price, correct?
Water.
So they can use it for
Build
dust
water,
control, yeah,
correct.
all right.
that's fine.
Any other discussion? Go ahead.
Trustee Saviano?
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Oakman?
Yes.
Trustee Guma?
Yes.
And Trustee Sutter.
Yes,
Okay, now we're at D.
I'll do this one. I'll make a motion to approve an ordinance amending and restarting ordinance number 25-44 of village granting a supplemental video gaming license to Foxy's Hideaway LLC.
I can second.
Okay. We need Ryan to recuse himself or no?
Pretty sure he plans to.
So yes, you should refuse.
So this all came about when we abolished the minimum foot floor space
Correct.
standard,
Yep.
and so now they're gonna go for their max.
Yep. Yeah, I was there a few days ago. They have 2 upstairs and some downstairs. So, okay,
No questions here?
no questions? All right. Do roll call?
You can just say recusing yourself when he calls you.
Trustee Saviano?
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Oakman?
Yes.
Trustee Guma?
Excusing myself.
And Trustee Sutter.
Yes.
And that takes us to our reports. Trustee Saviano, you want to start it off?
Sure. So we had the St. Patrick's Day Parade on the 7th, which was a success, and little did we know it was snow a couple weeks later, or a week and a half later. But I just wanted to say, so it's put out there, because we keep getting the same question from a lot of businesses as to why we had it so early. And the reason is so that our businesses have 2 weekends a month, or 2 weekends of good money, because people were gonna come out last weekend anyway for St. Patrick's Day. So there was talk about, oh, it was a little slower. Well, by design, it was gonna be, because it's now putting 2 busy weekends in instead of 1. And so I encourage them to total up both weekends before they have any complaints about stuff that volunteers work hard on. So, but yes, but we did it for the businesses, so I just wanted that on record because of a lot of questions about that. And that's all.
Trustee Sauter?
No report.
Trustee Mahoney?
Yeah, we had our community events meeting, and we're moving along with more projects. I've buried within all of the consent agenda, we are there was a resolution to support the Illinois 250, America 250 commemoration. So I want to thank Mark and Catherine for kind of getting all that going. And we have excited to announce that we're in the works to do 4th of July fireworks. Roger wants to move his Memorial Day to 4th of July. And so,
Awesome.
since this is kind of a established event, and Roger has confirmed that he's going to reach out to you guys to set up a meeting, start the planning meetings, which I think can be well handled by the experts that have handled it in the past and not the community events committee. That is fine. The fire department, the police department, public works, and all that kind of good stuff. And Village of West Dundee. So excited about that. And thanks to Roger Shelton for continuing to support the village. Enjoyed myself at the St. Patrick's Day parade. I was a little bit surprised. I felt like the attendance was a little light in some areas for the parade itself. Could be lots of reasons for that. One of the initiatives that we want to try and work on as a community events team is really enhancing communication and marketing. They're going to be working towards trying to establish some TikTok or other, and really what I really like to see happen, and Catherine kind of, or whoever we decide, really kind of take the synergies of the village website, the depot website, all of our social media, and also work with the businesses so that there's a really cohesive communication planned and kind of calendar on when we start, on what events they might have going, the businesses might have going on, what events we have going on, so that they can best support and staff properly for these various events. And so we can really kind of multiply the individual events and coordinate things a little bit better, just providing them the information in either email blasts, newsletter, MailChimp type thing, or whatever, however she does it. So lots more to come. We have another meeting early next month, and looking forward to a big season.
Can I tack on to Trustee Mahoney there?
Mm-hmm.
So we had talked about using Stellar Edge Marketing, and I just recently got a quote from them. I can share that, send that over to you, but we were looking for something in the budget to add on some social media management from a third-party company. So we have an initial quote and something we'd like to maybe get a presentation from them at the next events meeting,
Sure.
or present
Yeah,
to
that'd
the
be
full
great.
village board. So I just got that. We could have maybe another talk or two about that before that meeting. That'd be great.
Sure.
But I'll send that over to you.
Okay.
I just did. I forwarded it to you.
Okay, thanks. I haven't looked, honestly, I haven't looked at the village email all afternoon, so.
Trustee Ackman?
I guess all I'm gonna say is that it was a fun parade. It did seem like a lot of people to me, but, what am I comparing it to? I was just handing out candy, so, we did run out, so there was enough people to give away all the candy. You know what I mean? Which is good. We did try to get some from a neighboring village, but they weren't receptive. But it was a good event, and that's all I got. Thanks.
Trustee Guma, nothing?
That's all
No
I
report?
had.
All right. Do we have anything? I'll just keep going.
You all should have received our alerts on the build agenda, the governor's build agenda. We did a flurry of segments for you all, so any questions, feel free to ask.
Okay. Michael?
No report.
Caleb? Bill? Joe, I mean? Bill?
No.
Chief?
No report.
Erica?
Just gonna let everybody know we're having a special village board meeting this time next week, just to approve the agreements for the standpipe project. So we're opening bids this week, and we have some deadlines for grant funding that we have to meet, so in order to try to submit for that grant on time, we need to have a quick meeting next Monday, so that will be here at 6 p.m.
I think the parade was fantastic, an hour and a half long. It's so great for our community to do that. There's people that come from all over to that parade, so tell them I said thank you very much for doing that, and hopefully we can continue to grow it. Myself, Erica and Franco met with Representative Moeller to try to build up a relationship with her for a little while. I've been doing a little bit of tours at different facilities, and I got a call today from PNC. They want PNC Bank out of West Dundee. They want to build a relationship with us. So if you have any projects or anything that you might want them to assist with, please let me know, because my meeting is Friday. And that is all I have. We have nothing for executive session, so I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. Motion carries.
That was bad.
I was scared when I saw the agenda.